So the task for today, I'm gonna figure out why the Bronco won't pull fuel from the tank. I'm gonna do a little walk around here, show you what I've already done, what we still have to do, and hopefully we can figure this out and get this thing running. So to get this thing running, I had to replace some ignition parts, including the Duraspark, but we couldn't pull fuel. Even when I hooked a can up, it wouldn't really pull any fuel. So went ahead and replaced the fuel pump way down there somewhere, and then we were able to get it running fairly well with the can of True Fuel there. Tore the rubber lines off the back, still couldn't get any suction through from the tank, even from the middle of the truck here. So, right there. So we could get flow that way, but not from the tank here. So the next step, because I'm just making an assumption here, but I think the issue is going to be the pickup tube in the tank. The last 79 Bronco I'd worked on, same thing as this. It likely has ethanol fuel in it since it was last driven just a handful of years ago, and it probably corroded up that pickup tube something fierce. So we're going to get this tank dropped and see if that is our issue, try to clean it out, see if we need a new sock or a new pickup tube as a whole, and move on from there. Alright, so up under the truck, first thing I'm going to do is see if I can get these 9/16 nuts broke loose. I want to make sure they're not just going to shear the bolts off, and then we'll work on getting the hoses. Let's see, the hoses up there off, and the fuel filler neck, which is always the fun one on these. The fuel filler neck and the vent hose up there are terribly fun. So let's get going on it. Definitely gonna have to get a wrench on the back of that. Now we're going to work on these main hoses up here, which would be this main feed hose and that vacuum hose. And I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to get the tank started to drop before I can get anywhere towards the fuel hose up there, or the fill hose. Most likely going to have to cut these hoses off. If they're anything like the other hoses I dealt with on this truck, they're just completely hardened and unusable. mic swap. My battery died. But I can tell you one thing. It's amateur hour here because I completely forgot about the fuel level cinder pigtail right there. And luckily it looks in good shape under there, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and knock this ring off. I'd normally clean that off, but by the smell of this, I'm going to have to clean this entire tank anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock that off and check that pickup tube. Well, no sock left on it. A little clogged up. All right, that's started now. Now I can shift the tank back that direction. Guess I might as well get that one started too. Okay, so I ended up giving her some lube and she was able to slide on. So yeah, now let's shift the tank back over towards the driver's side and try to get everything buttoned up. I could get that little metal sleeve back over the frame and get the hose clamps and the fuel level sender hooked up. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's reconnect this battery, see if we can get this thing started. So next order of business, an exhaust. Because not only is that thing stupid loud, with all the rust holes in the floor, it just fills the cab up with exhaust fumes. So that'll be a video very soon. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see that. Have a good one.